Storing whiskey in a decanter pro tips. We are all aware of how decanters give full beauty to our favorite liquors, and most people use this for storage or serving. Some might think that decanters have a huge impact and function on our liquors, and one of those is whiskey. The big question here is, does decanting improve whiskey? Yes and no. When whiskey is bottled, it is considered a finished liquor, just perfect for you to drink or serve. It doesn't age in the bottle, unlike wines. Let's say you have a 12-year-old whiskey drunk in the same year it was bottled. The taste will still be the same if it was drunk 100 years later. Whiskey experts claim that the whiskey becomes smoother to taste when you open a bottle of whiskey. So it may improve the taste of the whiskey, but decanting does not necessarily do this. This might be hard to realize and figure out, but there are more relevant questions about storing whiskey in a decanter. So let's find out the answers. Should you put whiskey in a decanter? This is a tricky question for all whiskey experts because there's a battle between yes and no. Some are adamant not to decant whiskey, since it does not have an apparent functional purpose. Others also argue since the purpose of the whiskey decanter is purely aesthetic. So it's up to the users to decide. Does whiskey go bad in a decanter? If bottling the whiskey will not affect its age, decanting it will potentially ruin it. When you open a bottle of whiskey and pour its contents into a decanter, the same movement of air that affects the wine affects the whiskey too, but not for the better. Should you keep whiskey in a decanter? Let's say whiskey decanters are all glass decanters and not crystals. Should you keep whiskey in a decanter? The answer is still no. Whiskey decanters are not really airtight, so they will not preserve the whiskey for long. How long can you keep whiskey in a decanter? When you keep your whiskey in a decanter on the day you pour, you have to make sure you will consume it the next day. Remember, you can only keep it overnight. You can find the most airtight stopper to keep the air out of the whiskey. How do you properly decant whiskey? Since there's no functional purpose of using a decanter, fortunately, there's a proper way to decant whiskey. As mentioned, you cannot keep a whiskey in a decanter for too long. So, you can decant only the right amount plus 2 servings on top of your estimated consumption for a single setting, especially if you have company. It is recommended to have 2 to 3 filled decanters, so you don't have to refill after a single round. What is the purpose of a whiskey decanter? Unlike in wine, decanting has an actual function. In whiskey, it is primarily aesthetic. Why do you put whiskey in a decanter? The answer is simple: to increase its perceived value by its aesthetics. What can you do to keep your whiskey longer? Instead of keeping your whiskey in a decanter, find a smaller, airtight bottle to transfer your liquor. Keep it in a cool, dark area or a wine fridge, but be sure to store it in the cooler upright. While decanting whiskey is not a must, it is also a welcome addition to the home or office bar. It attracts people's attention when your decanters are displayed elegantly. Handling the decanter well, knowing the basics of decanter etiquette, and keeping excess whiskey is also imperative for a pleasing whiskey drinking experience. Even though decanters have no real purpose to some drinks, it is still good to know how to handle them. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your fellow wine and whiskey lovers. Don't forget to subscribe to Advanced Mixology to learn fun facts about your favorite drinks and awesome bartending tips.